I recently asked the question on Instagram stories if you had any travel questions for me. I didn't get a lot, which is probably good, but I am going to tackle those questions today. These are in no particular order. I'm just going to read them as they showed up on my Instagram, and I will put a box in here of each question. The first one from Laura: would love to hear your tips for staying productive while on the road. That's a great question, Laura. I'm sure that you are familiar that I do work on the road. I work on the road. I do my PM skincare on the road. I am one to really maximize and utilize my time. There's nothing wrong with just enjoying, being a passenger in a car and looking at the scenery around you. But we know that most people probably end up getting on their phone and just scrolling or maybe reading. So everyone has a different opinion of what productive looks like. Because I run a business, I try to utilize the time while I'm traveling. So I think the best way to be productive is to plan. I always say organize tomorrow, today, plan next week, this week. Get your components together, make sure everything is charged. I think it's also important to have something in your vehicle to charge. So for example, my laptop, I have a permanent charger in my car. It never leaves my car. So anytime I get in there, one of the very first things I do is I hook up to the charging device. I also have a desk that I keep in my car. I don't ever take it out because I have a different one in the house. That way I don't have to go back and forth. So I have a laptop desk, and then I don't ever leave home without everything I need. But if you do, having maybe a list of what it is that you want to accomplish while you're on the road as a passenger in what you will need. And then you want to get that all together, have a game plan, and then hopefully you can just jump on your hotspot if you want to get on your computer like I do. Whatever it is, just make sure that you have everything. And that's how you are productive. You just plan ahead. Jeannie asks, do you use hotel points? That is a great question. I wish Paul were here. He's not. He's hitting some golf balls right now. We do use points for flying. I believe I have maybe a card. Well, let me just say this. We don't use credit cards. Paul and I never have, but I know he has a couple. I don't have them. I know that probably at least one, there's probably something in my name because I do know that we accumulate, I believe, Delta points for flying. So often we will be able to travel, via airplane for free with Delta because we've earned those points. We don't stay. It's a hard one to answer because for one thing, I don't know if Paul uses anything when he books for a hotel. He typically does all of our bookings. And because I get commissions through an affiliate platform, we almost always book through, I think it's called hotels.com, because I get commissions back from that. But as far as points, I really don't know. When we're traveling by car, if we're traveling to a destination, we don't stay at luxury hotels. We stay at economy hotels. In fact, there's a True by Hilton, TRU, that is a great place. It's so affordable, and we've had really great success with that. But that's a great question. I don't know. And he's not here to ask. Okay, the next one, Elegant Beauty. I know who this is. Do you travel with your whole makeup, or do you shrink it down to the essentials? And then how do you clean your makeup tools while traveling? Well, where is it? I am getting ready when I film this to travel. When this video publishes, I probably will be either traveling or home, but I have a little recycled container, plastic container, small. It's 1 ounce. So if you were traveling by plane. You would be able to put this in a carry-on if needed, but this has Dawn dish soap in it. That is my preferred cleanser for my brush. Is that what she asked? Yeah, makeup tools. This is my preferred cleanser for my makeup tools and beauty sponge. I wash my beauty sponge after each use, and I wash my concealer brush after each use because those are in a liquid. My other brushes that are in a powder, I don't wash every time I use them. I rarely wash them, but they're not in bad shape. I can say that. They're in pretty decent shape. But yeah, Dawn dish soap, and I just put it in this little container. And yes, I do travel. Okay, somewhat. I would say yes, I do travel with all of my makeup because when I do my makeup, I am going to film. And if I do my makeup when I'm traveling, I'm usually going out. So I want to be completely together. That's my preference. So I do pack everything that I would use to apply my makeup. Now, I don't pack more than one blush. I don't pack more than one lip cocktail. I don't pack more than one eyeshadow palette. So I do pack a whole full face of makeup, but I only pack what I'm going to use for the whole trip, if that makes sense. I only pack the brushes I'm going to use. So I don't pack extras. I don't pack all my makeup because I have tons of makeup from just years and years and years. I don't pack that. I just pack what I'm using. The next one, Rory asks, tips for dealing with travel bloat. Well, I would say it's all about your eating. You shouldn't experience bloat unless you're making choices to get you to that place. That is just what I've observed in my years of traveling. I am only going to be experiencing bloat because I've eaten or drank something that is going to encourage my body to retain water. So I would just keep your diet clean. Avoid foods and beverage that are inflammatory. For example, alcohol is highly inflammatory and I'm very reactive. So I don't need to leave my home to start having things swell. I mean, I'm not even full. One glass of wine and my feet are swollen. That is how reactive I am to alcohol. It wasn't always that way. I would say it started in my 40s, probably during perimenopause, although my first signs of perimenopause was at the age of 39, and I didn't stop having my period until I was 52. I don't know. Yeah, I would just say if you want to avoid the bloat, it's all about making the wise decisions and avoiding the things that create the bloat. The next question, how do you scale down your packing list for a flight? I am traveling alone for a work trip. Here's what I do. This is a great system. I have a master packing list. It is saved on my Google Drive as a Google Doc. It is a master list and it's broken down into categories. So it would have a hair category, skincare, makeup, bedtime, beach, workout, necessities for traveling in the car, carry on, whatever. It is broken down. When I am preparing to go on a trip to travel, I copy that entire document. I open a new document, I paste it, and then I go into the new document and I start deleting what I don't need for the upcoming trip. That is my master document. So that's how I scale down, but I'm still taking what I need. I don't have any interest in traveling without what I need. I can't imagine anyone traveling without what they need. I take what I need. What I don't need, I don't take. It stays home. But that's how I scale it down. I hope that answers your question. How do you record your planned outfits, list, pictures? That is a great question. So it's a little bit of the same principle. I make a list of where I'm going to go. How many, and you don't always have this exact, because vacations come with flexibility, and they should, but we are planners. My husband and I are planners. Our kids are planners. So reservations are made. Plans for the most part are made, but within those plans, there's spontaneity, if that makes sense. So if we are going to, let's just say when we went to Boston and we were taking the day, we had the day planned and we were doing the Freedom Trail. That evening, we had a dinner reservation, but while we're doing the Freedom Trail, we're stopping places, and that's spontaneous. But I am dressed and I packed for that day's outing. And then I packed something for that dinner, if that makes sense. So I decide, first I have a list of how long we're going to be gone and what we're going to be doing, so I know what I need. If I'm going to have workouts, I'll know what I need. If I have dinners out, I know I need outfits for that. If we're going to be on foot walking, strolling charming towns, I know what I need for that. And then I do try to pack in a way that things can kind of merge together, so I can get more than one wear out of something if I need it, if that makes sense. If I have an inspiration outfit that I'm inspired by, I will create a folder on my desktop of my laptop. I go like this because my laptop is over here. I will create a folder and it will just say vacation outfits, and I will have screenshots that I've taken from websites, store sites, something that popped up on a reel. I'm not on TikTok, but like a reel on Instagram or Facebook. And then I will put it in there. Or I will copy the link to the reel, email it to myself so that I can watch that reel again as I'm planning and preparing. That is a great question because it is a well-oiled machine. And another thing about me is I don't typically overpack clothing and accessories. Well, I would say sometimes shoes or handbags, because what will happen is if I'm going to be gone all day, I may not take the handbag that I planned with that outfit because I want to take something bigger. So sometimes I do make those changes, but I pack for my trips. I don't need variety. If we're going to dinner, this is the outfit for that dinner. And this is the outfit for tomorrow's dinner. And this is for the third night. I don't need 3 options for one night. That's just too much for me. Yeah, I think with clothes, I don't overdo it, but I like things to go together. Handbags go with outfits for me. Shoes go with outfits. So often it's the handbags and the shoes that are kind of in abundance, and that's because I may want to leverage them, but sometimes I don't, and that's okay. Again, I like to take what I'm going to use. The next question is must-have vacations, and I wasn't really sure exactly what Christy was asking. I'm guessing she's asking like places that are must to travel to. That is really hard. I have places that are a must for me that I've traveled, but I could never tell someone else that they would love it there. People do. People will tell you, you will love whatever. You will love Hawaii. You will love this. Yeah, I'm always the skeptic over here. We don't really know what people will love unless we know what they enjoy, okay? Tropical, all-inclusive tropical vacation. You're not getting me excited. You're not getting me. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. It's not on a bucket list. I can tell you that. It doesn't sound exciting to me. But there could be someone that says, oh, you have to go wherever. And it's an all-inclusive and you'll love it. Well, how do they know I'll love it? What if I say, oh, there's mountains and I can go hiking? No, there's a beach and oh, okay. So I would really love to help anyone map out and plan out, but I don't know places to go unless I know what you enjoy. Hopefully that helps. Maybe that would be a whole video that I can have you share with me what you're looking for. Also, I haven't traveled a lot. I mean, I have been to a lot of places, but if you were to compare me to people that really travel, no, I don't have a lot of experience, but I've been to some amazing places. For example, I love New York City, but I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. If you're in your 70s and you're just not moving very fast, I'm not going to recommend going to New York City. I love Boston, loved it. But that doesn't mean everyone is going to love Boston. Some people have no interest in a city. I loved Sedona, but I don't think Sedona is for everyone. I absolutely love the Cape Cod in Massachusetts, Nantucket in Martha's Vineyard. Oh, love, love, love. I don't know if it would be for everyone. I can specifically think of loved ones. I wouldn't recommend going there. I just don't think it's their vibe. So I think that's really important. Also important for you to think about not telling other people what they'll love, because we really don't know until we know what they really like. What do they enjoy? But yeah, I would have some great recommendations maybe if I knew what that was. But if you ask me best tropical vacations, I'm going to say I have no idea. I mean, I have been on tropical vacations, but they weren't my favorite vacations by any means. And there aren't any on my bucket list. With the distances you end up traveling to, do you ever decide to fly instead of driving? Yes, absolutely. If I'm going to New York City, no driving, no thank you. So it all depends on the vacation. How long we'll be gone, and do we need a car? If we're going to be gone a couple of weeks, like we're traveling now, and we are traveling to some locations that you can travel to really in one day even, and we just sometimes decide not to, we need a car because we're gone for a couple of weeks, and we're not going to rent a car for that. So we're kind of a mixed bag, and it depends on where we're going. If I went all the way to Florida, many people that live in Michigan drive to Florida. That would probably be a trip that I would fly because it's just a little too many hours. But if I were going for 6 weeks, I'd probably drive because we would want our car. So it really just depends, but that's a great question. Favorite town and restaurant up north? Why? Oh, this so aligns with the other question. Well, I will share with you. There's kind of two parts of up north. There's the east side, which we've spent many years vacationing in the summer months. My sister and brother-in-law had a beautiful cottage with a lot of land right on Lake Huron, and they had a beautiful guest house. It was amazing. We spent a lot of time there. You have the east side, and then you have the west side, the Lake Michigan side, and we are that side. That is our vibe. They're very different. Most people have a preference, one or the other, and I feel like it often makes sense which one is their preference. When you know them, and I'm not saying this is not a judgment, it's just the reality. They're both beautiful, but they're just different. They are different. And we are just those that prefer more of the West. So we love your Traverse City, your Mackinac Island, Mackinac City's okay. I mean, I know what there is to do. So Mackinac Island, I mean, it'd be hard for me not to recommend that to anyone even if you live out of state. But again, I would hate to do that and then have someone be disappointed. We love the Petoskey area, Harbor Springs, Charlevoix. As you know, we travel. We're going to Charlevoix in a few weeks. Bay Harbor. Oh gosh, so much beauty. Upper Peninsula, I haven't been. I'm not Upper Peninsula. I've been in the Upper Peninsula, even as a child, but I wouldn't be the person to get your advice from or get your where to go. I haven't been there enough to be able to speak on it. And then restaurants, I mean, I certainly could make a lot of recommendations, but I don't feel like it's going to be in this video. That would be worth emailing where you're going, Holly, and I'd be happy to share some great eateries with you. But again, I need to know what you like, because same thing, a lot of the places that our family likes to dine at, I have loved ones. If they were going with me, that's not where I would go, because I know it wouldn't be their style. And maybe they wouldn't be willing to pay that price too. Are you able to carry on all your liquid toiletries when flying, or do you always check a bag? I don't believe I've ever flown without a checked bag, but if I had to, I would be able to take my toiletries in my carry-on, because you just have to go with small sizes. And I would know how to do that. Do you have more than one travel packing list? Great question. I kind of covered this. I have one master, but it'll even have ski and snow and tubing as a category. But we're going into summer, so when I copy and paste that into a new document for my upcoming travel, I just delete that whole section. I delete what doesn't apply. So one master list, but then I copy it and recreate a duplicate, edit out what I don't need, and then I'll print it. I'll save that until that trip is over, or if I'm going to take that trip again, I'll keep it in a Google Docs folder for future travel. Any tips for getting your water in on travel days without peeing your pants between bathroom stops? Well, we take a lot of bathroom stops if we're traveling by car. Paul and we're both pretty easygoing. I'm thankful for that, because I wasn't raised by a father who was easygoing when traveling. I have some nightmares about that, among other not so fun memories. Paul and I are not like that, and I'm thankful. He uses the bathroom often. I use the bathroom often. If we leave in the morning by car, which we typically do, we're stopping every hour for at least the first couple of hours, because we're still either having coffee or coming off coffee. And then after that, we can probably stretch it a couple of hours, but we don't worry about it. I'll be honest, that's just petty. That's just petty. Flying, there's always a bathroom on the flight, so never a concern. It is interesting. A lot of people have big concerns about going to the bathroom often. And I guess there are times when, you do want to try to avoid that, so maybe just scale back. But for some reason, I don't have any negative energy around using a restroom. I believe I'm into healthy though. So I believe in drinking a lot of water. I believe in hydration, but how I live my life is just a healthy lifestyle. And that's not for everyone, and that is okay. So I think if you're just not comfortable, don't drink it. And the tips, I would say when I struggle the most is not traveling by car or plane. It's day trips, being on foot all day, because I may only pack a couple bottles with me, and sure, you can get them filled. Often what will happen is when we stop for lunch, I'll make sure I drink the bottles that I have, the water canteens or units. I drink those before I get there or right when I get to the restaurant, and I fill those before we get on walking again. And then if we stop again someplace for a beverage, a cocktail, I may drink down a water, fill it up there. But yeah, that's when I do want to not have too many bathroom breaks. That's when it's kind of an inconvenience when you're like walking all day, because I don't like to hold up my family, but you just make it work. Every situation is unique. Hey Tracy, any tips on portion control and food choices? Oh, such a toughie. I've shared so many times, and I just shared recently in a video in April that most people, I would say, maybe not everyone, but most people have a struggling situation when it comes to food. And mine has always been vacationing. I just want to be on vacation. I just want to celebrate my wins the whole time. And I've done that. And it doesn't serve me, because when you talk about the bloating, when I bloat and I get inflamed, I wear tailored clothes. I don't look good in the big stuff, the big baggy hanging all over you stuff. Actually, I believe very few people do look good in that, but some can pull it off. The really teeny tiny people, they can pull it off. But I don't wear that. I'm more of a tailored girl. So I really can't afford to have all this bloat. My clothes won't fit me, and I get inflamed very easily. So I think you just have to coach yourself. You have to be willing to have some difficult conversations with yourself each day, which I've gotten better about that, and realizing that being in vacation celebration mode just isn't going to serve me. So I have some note cards that I read, that I pack strategically. I type up a little letter to myself and read that every morning to just check myself, because I'll remember that when I'm being a little bit tempted to go off plan. But yeah, it's hard. I agree. How do you and Paul budget your travel funds? What is your process? Well, we used to be more strict, strategic with a real solid budgeting, like we had an envelope when we were raising the kids, because we were on such a tighter budget. We had kids in parochial schools. We had kids in travel sports. It was just a lot tighter then. We have a little bit more freedom and flexibility. We know what our budget is per year that we are willing to spend in a calendar year. So we look at that, and then we decide where are we going to go and how much is going to be spent. And because we record all of our spending, and we have a spreadsheet for every trip we've taken in the last several years, we kind of know, and we can look and see what we did, how many days we were gone. We can look at the exact, I'm talking tolls. We record it all, and that may seem, for some people that just may seem nonsense, and that's okay, but it is really great for planning. So for example, 2025, we have a budget we're working in, and our vacation is kind of coming to an end. When this video publishes, I believe I'll be on vacation, and part of it is a vacation and part is just a staycation, which isn't very costly at all, because we'll be in Pinehurst, North Carolina at my sister's. But I'm taking downtime, unlike the last time I was there where I worked the whole time. I am taking downtime. But we have one more vacation. Well, we actually kind of have two. We have one more week-long vacation that's will cost us a little more money, and that's with all the kids. And then we have just a little weekend vacation on Labor Day weekend with the kids as well. We don't have two of the daughters, and their husband or significant other won't be there, but with 3 of the kids and our grandkids. So that's it for the year. There's nothing. Well, wait a minute. I forgot. We are going to Boston for Thanksgiving. But that's all factored in, and we've been to Boston before, so we know exactly what we're probably going to spend. So it's all budgeted ahead of time. We're working on 2026 because there's some things that we are uncertain of right now that could take place in 2026. So we're waiting that out. But we do already have trips planned for 2026. I have a plan. I'm going on a trip in January. We were just invited on a trip with several couples in August that we may be doing. By the time this video publishes, that decision will be made. But yeah, we have a lump sum that we work out of, and then it just gets divvied up however we choose. But great question. It looks like I just have one more question, and it is favorite travel luggage and weekend bag. So here's something that's interesting. I love my carry-on. Oh, I love it. Oh my, I wish the color that I have was still available, but that was they do like limited editions or whatever, and I took advantage of a limited. You can still get the piece, you just can't get the color because it was a limited edition. When it comes to checked bags, we have old luggage. It's probably 20 years old or more, and we could care less. They're big, they're maximum size, they hold everything, and that's all that matters because they get knocked around, so we really don't care. But my carry-on, which is the largest size you can get for a carry-on, I love. And then I love all of my components, and they are by the line away, which is great. But I'll share those with you. Let's take a look at what I have, and you can kind of see some of the items that I packed. Okay, so I am packing up from one destination. We are in Corolla, North Carolina, and then we're heading to Pinehurst. So I am getting ready to pack up all of my travel pieces. I will have all of these linked. This is a hair one, which I talked about in my hair video. And this one here is for like hair tools and product. This is for makeup, and it's a lighted makeup mirror. And then I love the Away line. Sorry, I am having throat issues this morning, so I keep having to clear my throat. But these Away pieces I love. So I will be filling this unit here with some of these pieces. I don't know if this color is still available, but everything you're seeing here, I love. So we have this, I will have linked. This is a sunglass case that holds several pairs of sunglasses. Again, hair, makeup. That's kind of like undergarments, pajamas, makeup. This is jewelry. So it's a hanging jewelry thing, which I love. It unfolds. I use it for more than jewelry, but this is great. And again, hair. And then these are like the toiletry pieces. I have all of the toiletry pieces that go with that unit. Why do I feel like there's one more? Let me think about this. So I have my skincare in this one, makeup in this one. Am I missing one out there? I feel like I have 3 and then that unit, but I'm just trying to think of where it's at. It could be out there, and then I will also show you my Away carry-on. Okay, I don't see it. So maybe I didn't use the other one for this trip. I don't know. But anyway, everything will be linked. This is not the best lighting, and Paul is showering, so you can hear him. But here's my Away carry-on piece of luggage. And then that big bag that I showed you, that is right here. I also love that I have this on here. I can throw AirPods in there, my debit card, wallet, whatever I can throw in there. And then like a lot of these travel bags, it slides right on here. Maybe I'll take it outside of the room and show you again in better lighting. Another bag I want to talk about is this Longchamp bag, which I love.
I got this last year before we went to Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. It'll actually fold up into a really small size for packing, but this is kind of my bag. I use this bag every day of this trip. It holds everything. I have like a handbag divider in there, but it holds a ton of stuff, and it's a material that you can kind of wash. So, I mean, if someone were traveling by airplane and I think you'd be able to have these 3 pieces. I don't know. I always check a bag, but I mean, like this to me would be perfect because you could store these in the overhead, I'm guessing. Yeah, I think so. I think you get maybe 3 bags. I don't know. Like your purse, that would be like my handbag. But yeah, I'll wheel this out into the kind of like the hallway of where we're staying so that you can see it in natural light. Okay, yeah, where we are staying is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, this is a better view. Yep. But I don't believe this color is still available, but I do love it. And I love all the pieces.
When we come back from North Carolina, I don't plan to fully unpack, believe it or not. I plan on lining up a lot of my stuff in my filming room, which is where I'm at right now, lining it up against the wall on the floor, because we will be leaving in, I don't know exactly what day we're coming home from Pinehurst, North Carolina. That is the beauty of having a car and having flexibility where I work wherever. And now my husband, who is retired from his career for 32 years and now runs his consulting business, he can work from anywhere. But let me look at my travel. So we left on Wednesday, April 30th, and then we drove to, well, I'm pre-recording this, so this is the plan, God willing. The plan was we would drive to just outside of North Carolina. So do a long day on Wednesday traveling, and then get a hotel, just an economy, nice hotel. We have certain ones we like. You can always email if you want to know which ones, if that's important, but we have certain ones we stay at. A gym is always important to me. Again, we love the True by Hilton. Such a great, affordable, clean. They have a breakfast in the morning. It's amazing. Always have a nice fitness center. But then we will get into the Outer Banks. We're staying at the Corolla Village Inn in Corolla, which is part of the Outer Banks, on Thursday, May 1st. And then we leave there on Monday, May 5th, or we did, if all went as planned, and then got to my sister's house in Pinehurst. And we just figured we would leave probably around Monday the 12th, but that's the earliest. And then I wanted to be home by Wednesday or Thursday, because on the 17th of May, again, I don't know when this video is going to publish. I'm going to take a wild guess that it's going to publish, on the 9th. Okay, so I should still be on vacation. I'm really taking you along. So next week, if all is planned, we would be coming home like midweek, because June and Mac are having a combined birthday party on Saturday the 17th. It's tutus and choo-choos. So June will be 4 and Mac will be 2. So yeah. Choo-choos and tutus. So we just need to be home. And then we leave again for a week, 4 to 5 weeks we leave again. So it just doesn't make sense for me to completely unpack every single thing. Links to anything that I shared with you, like the luggage pieces, they will all be in the description box below. Check out the last video that I published, which was a hair video. I talked about some travel items that I pack in that video, so you want to check that out. Also, my recent purchases video, my recent empties video, there's a lot to uncover and unpack if you're looking for ideas and suggestions. But yeah, don't hesitate to email if you have a personal vacation, like of some place that I went to, but I need to know kind of what you're looking for, or what interest you have, because I do believe everyone is different. All right, another long video, but thank you for the questions on travel. Happy to share, and I'll see you next week right here again on YouTube. Make sure you're watching me on stories. Who knows what I'm doing while I'm out and about traveling. So, but I share it all. I'm usually on Instagram stories more when I'm on vacation. So, all right, have a good one. Take care.